What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is another review of Marrying Millions, Season 1, Episode 4. So, this episode, we focus on for the couple. So, let's talk about Katie and Colton first. So, remember, Katie and Colton are the couple where Colton is like 19, 20 years old. Katie, is in her 50s or 40s, whatever she is. And Colton was a friend of her daughter's, right? So Colton says that it's time for him to tell his parents what's going on. He's tired of lying to them. And basically what he told his family was that he was her assistant because he had dropped out of school, he had dropped out of college, and they knew that she was a friend of his, and they knew that she had money, and she seemed like the kind of person that would need an assistant. And so that was the way he explained him spending so much time in her house and so much time with her, was telling her that he was the assistant. But now he's like, I really need to let my parents know the truth and tell them what's going on. I really don't like, you could tell he didn't like lying to them. He didn't like that idea of him lying to them. So he goes over to tell, and Katie, you could tell Katie was nervous. She was not trying to, he'd be here for it. But he went over there and he told them. And it was very emotional because, his parents were like, well, why did you feel like you had to lie to us? Like, we don't like you feeling like you have to lie to us about something. Like, we're never going to disown you. We're never going to turn our backs on you. And what we find out is that Colton is adopted. Him and his sister were in foster care, and his parents adopted him. And he said, the fact that not only did they adopted him when he was 5. The fact that not only they adopted him, but the fact that they kept him and his sister together. They didn't, a lot of times, unfortunately, they try their best to keep siblings together, but it doesn't always happen. And so, as a result, he said that, maybe he didn't tell them because he didn't want, them to be disappointed. And he also didn't want a violent reaction out of them. He said, he still lives with the memories of his mom and how abusive she was to him. He was saying, there were times when she put him out the house and made him stand outside because he dropped the ball. And mind you, he was 5 years old, 4 and 5 years old. But anyway. So, but they were like, you have to know that we would never do that to you. We would never treat you, we would never do that. So, like, you're good. But we're just hurt that you felt like you couldn't come to us and tell us that. Now, later on in the episode, we see where they go out to dinner. And, ultimately, they have the same concerns that any parent would have. They were like, we just want to make sure that this is not a situation where he's your boy toy. Where you're just going to play with him, and then when you're done, you're going to move on to something else. And again, it was an awkward dinner. But to Colton's parents' credit, they were being very polite, and I think they were doing a lot better than I think most parents would be. You know what I'm saying? But it was definitely an awkward situation. But Mama Bear was really, giving Kate, the state guy, like, what you doing with my son? I see you, you see me, we see each other, and what you got going on with my son? Okay, so there was that. So Rosie and Drew, after Rosie's parents left them hanging down to the restaurant where they were going to tell them about them moving in together. She said that pretty much just sealed the deal, and she just decided that she was moving in with her, moving in with Drew. He got the movers coming. She's packing up all her stuff, and she's really upset by it. She said, no matter what I've done, I've tried to do everything to be the perfect daughter, and it's just never good enough. No matter what I do, it's just never good enough for them. And so she moves into Drew's loft. Now she's in there with one of her really good girlfriends, and the girlfriend is trying to I think the girlfriend is trying to help her stay grounded. You know what I mean? From the point of view of, I want to make sure that you understand. She was like, how many women you think he done had up in here? And she was like, I don't know. And like, they were making the bed, and she was like, how many women you think done slept on this couch? This mattress. I said, it's so funny because that's the kind of stuff that my friends would do. Like, I'm not going to come right out and tell you. I'm going to lead you down the path to righteousness, and hopefully you can find it on your own. But I'm not going to be the one to tell you. And And she was just like, well, I mean, I don't know, but hopefully I'll be the last child. The girlfriend done found condoms in the drawer. She was like, he got a drawer full of condoms. They done found makeup wipes in the medicine cabinet that are not hers. And she was like, I just think she's being really naive. Like, I just think she's being really naive about this. Sorry about the noise. Got some stuff going on in the kitchen, but it's okay. And so, her friend is really like, listen, I get it. She loves this man. She caught up, but I just don't want her to be a fool. Because at the end of the day, I think, he's a player, and ultimately she gonna be on the outside looking in like probably all them other women he used to deal with. So that was that. Then we have Gentile and Brian. Genty. I was calling her Gentile, but it's Genty is her name. So the correct pronunciation. Now, we remember that Genty and Brian. Now, listen, in this episode, last episode, I wasn't with you, Brian, because you went and you used that daggone credit card, and you got you a $2,500 suit when you could have went down to the men's warehouse and got you a $300 suit, and it would have done the trick. But okay, you let that man talk you into an Armani suit, knowing good and well you ain't have no Armani money, and you was using that girl credit card. But all right, then, I'm going to let you have that. We're going to move on. Okay. Now, this episode, though, it's her birthday, and she goes and meets up with her friends, and, they're asking her, like, well, what is it that you see in him that we not seeing? Because we just not feeling what you feeling. And they told her about the comment he made about, why don't you, I wish you had a penis so you could see how hard it was dating her, and that kind of stuff. And she said, I really wasn't appreciative of those comments, but at the same time, he was nervous, and I know that, he probably was just saying stuff out of his nerves or whatever. So, it's her birthday, and she's having this big birthday party with a kings and queens theme, and of course she's gonna be the queen of the night and all of that. And the theme is to come dressed up as your favorite prince or princess or whatever. And it looked like it's this huge event, right? Which, listen, I'm one of them people that I do that. I celebrate my birthday. My birthday is the most important day of the year. I get it. I am all here for the birthday celebration. Okay. Now, Brian, knowing that he doesn't have a lot of money, but still wanted to do something nice for her, he went out to find a pearl necklace. He said she has a lot of jewelry, and I can tell it's expensive. I can't quite, afford that, but if I can go and find her maybe some antique jewelry that may not be real expensive, but look nice and all of that. So he found her some pearls, and he said he had gone to 4 or 5 stores looking for something. And of course he knew they weren't real pearls. Like, he knows that. But they were a really nice imitation. And when I say a really nice imitation, I'm saying for somebody like myself who is not a connoisseur, through the TV, it looked like a nice piece of custom jewelry. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell they weren't real pearls. But they were nice. It was a nice set of custom pearls, right? And I feel like, too, it's the thought that counts. So, later on at her party, he's late. Now, Brian, I was working with you, but I can't give you no points for that. You were supposed to be the first one there. You damn sure wasn't supposed to be over an hour late. I think he was maybe close to 2 hours late, but he was late. So, he gets there, and of course, by the time he gets there, she's irritated because her friends they stroking the fire. Where's Brian? Brian's not here. Why is Brian late? Brian shouldn't be late. This is your night. You shouldn't be late. He should have been the first one here. He should be here. I don't know where Brian is. That's messed up. Brian's late. Why would Brian do that? And so, of course, she probably was already irritated, but now she's irritated and embarrassed because she's been defending this man. And every time he finds a way to kind of screw it up. So Brian shows up. He's got flowers. He's got his little Prince outfit on. He's Prince Charming outfit on. Because I don't want y'all to think I meant Prince like Minneapolis Prince. I mean that Prince. He has, and he has his gift. And he said, listen, it took me so long because I had to figure out how to put this damn costume on, okay? And I was running around getting everything settled, picking up the flowers and all of that. So he gets there. And of course, he immediately, they start coming after him for being late. And, he was like, well, I'm sorry, I'm here now, He does end up apologizing to her friend. He apologizes to her friend, and he's like, I really, I'm sorry if I offended, if anything I said offended you, and so they apologize, and hopefully, going to have a fresh slate. So he gives her gift, and she opens it. First of all, you didn't open nobody else's gift. Although it is your boyfriend, so maybe I would have. Anyway, and it's the pearls, and she immediately starts making fun of them. She's because everybody knows they're fake, right? So she immediately starts making fun of them, and he was like embarrassed because he was like, why would she do that to me? Like, I went out of my way, I tried to do something nice for her, and why would she embarrass me like that? And I feel the same way. My thing is this: if you're gonna date a broke man, then you gotta expect to get broke man gifts. I know you didn't expect that he was gonna be able to go out here and spend $400 or $500 on a gift for you. He did the best he could with what he had. This man don't have no money. Like, unless you was gonna give him your credit card to buy you a gift, he did what he could. And so I feel like, if you're gonna date somebody with no money, then that's the kind of stuff that you're gonna be dealing with, especially when the roles are reversed. If it's a woman dating a rich man, the expectation isn't the same. It just isn't. But anyway. Then her friends got her some male strippers. And so the male strippers, they're doing their thing and they're being male strippers. And Brian gets upset. He's like, why am I getting ready to sit here and watch? I mean, this man is giving her a lap dance and he got his junk all in her face. And like, I'm not about to sit here and just be embarrassed and be disrespected. And baby, he ended up leaving. I don't blame you, Brian. I don't blame you at all. And it wasn't because of the strippers and all that. It really was because of the disrespect. Like, again, he doesn't have any money. Like, the week before, you had to buy his suit to come to an event with you. Like, so anyway, child. Last but not least, we have Sean and we have Megan. Now, Megan done convinced Sean to go tell his father and them that they was getting married. She said, so they go down to Miami and all of that. She said, I told my family already and they were happy for me. Like, that was the expectation. But, your family, there seems to be an issue with you wanting to tell your family. So what we do find out is that once before Sean was dating somebody that his father didn't like, and his father cut him off. And so I said, see, that's part of what's going on here, is that Sean already know what life was like when you cross daddy. And probably the only reason why daddy ain't really tripping too hard is because they got that baby. You know what I'm saying? So he confides in his sister first. And her sister wasn't feeling it. Now, I don't know if the sister wasn't feeling it because she grew up with that same mindset of you don't marry, we don't get married in this family. That's just not what we do. I don't know if that's what the issue was, or if it was, or if the issue was, or if the issue was that there's some stuff that done went down that we don't know about as far as Megan is concerned, and the family kind of give her the side eye. Like, see, we don't know everything. We don't have all the background. But the sister was not here for it. The sister was not feeling it at all. So he tells the daddy, and baby, the daddy is not here for it. The daddy was like, why would you do that? That's stupid. He was like, that's not a good idea. And he was like, well, why not? He was like, because why would you need to get married? There's no purpose in you getting married. Why would you don't need to get married. And he was like, well, we want to have another baby, and Megan wants to get married first before we have another child. And daddy was like, yeah, you can have another child without getting married. Like, you don't need to get married. And she was like, well, why, what's the problem? He was like, well, good for you, but not good for him. She was like, what do you mean good for me? He was like, I mean, good for you. Like, you'll be taken care of. Like, you getting you getting the good end of this stick. He's the one that's going to be left hanging. And so she immediately got upset, which she should have, because basically that man was calling her a gold digger to her face, So then he takes Sean aside to go have a conversation with him, and he basically tells him, he was like, listen, this ain't a good idea. He said, but at the very least, you need to get a prenup. At the very least, you need to get a prenup. Now, let me say this to everybody. If you are going to date a man/woman with money, and you don't have any, in this day and age, you have to expect that the word prenup is going to come up. And at this point in the game, in this day and age, what you need to do is just be smart enough to get a lawyer that is going to include clauses in the prenup that still work to your favor if the marriage doesn't work out. I've seen prenups that have clauses in there about infidelity. If the marriage ends because of infidelity, then the prenup is voided. I've seen clauses about timelines. If we stay married longer than this amount of years, then this is what I get. If we stay married longer than this amount of years, then this is what I get. Like, at the end of the day, it is a business document, and you have to make sure that you are well represented at the table. If I was to go out here and date me a man with a whole lot of money, I can't be mad at him for saying, listen, I love you and all, but just in case this thing don't work out, I just need to protect my interests. You can't be mad at him for that. Like, that don't even make no sense to be mad about that. Just go get you a good lawyer and tell your lawyer what it is that you want and put it into place. And y'all stay married for the next 20 years, and it's a mute point. It just is what it is. Anyway, y'all, that was pretty much this episode. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.